Right. I want to talk about the electro-weak baryogenesis. I'll refer the following reference cosmology written by the Lubakov and two review papers for the electro-weak baryogenesis and the recent papers and the presentation slide of the new model for this electro-weak baryogenesis. Such a baryogenesis models is a motivative to explain the baryon symmetry of the universe. And there is a circle of condition, and among that, the baryon number should be the baryolytis to generalize the asymmetry of the matter and antimatter. And in the standard model, the baryon number barylation, the BMV process is already included as a non-perturbative effect. This means that this cannot be shown in the Bioman diagram. The current for the baryon numbers is anomalously broken in the quantum loop level by the triangle diagram, so that this baryon number current is a baryolytis for this continuity equation of the Noether theorem. There's a non-zero term in the right hand side with dual pure strings of the SU2 electro-weak gauge symmetry. And similarly, for the left number, it is also anomalously broken. And by the integrate this current, we can obtain the change of the baryon number from the initial to the final time. And this change of the baryon number should be the integer value. So the Beer strength V mu and the dual Beer strength V tilde should be the proportional to the 1 over the z, where the g is the coupling constant of the gauge symmetry. And from that, the energy is proportional to the scale of this Beer strength. This is a similarity to the electrodynamics. And by the dimensional analysis, the energy of the instantaneous parallel process is given by the mw, W boson mass, over the coupling z scale. And there will be the additional correction term as a function of the b. There are two possible solutions. The first one is instantone in the zero temperature. We can assign the Chern-Simons number here for the degenerate vacuum, and in the zero temperatures, the quantum tunnelings occur. It is called the instantone. And the instantone light is given by the exponential of the minus 4 pi over the alpha w. This can be proven by the positive definite of this term, the difference between the field strength and the dual strength. If we expand this term, the first two terms correspond to the action, and the final terms correspond to the Chern-Simons number, this one. And if we assume that the Chern-Simons number is equal to the 1 as a minimum number, then the action can be represented by the Chern-Simons number, and the instantone light is proportional to the exponentials of the minus action. And because the coupling is extremely small, so the instantone light is the surplused. So this cannot give the enough baryon number barylation. But there is a finite temperature effect, which is parallel process. There is one saddle point, so the state can transit from the one vacuum site to the another vacuum site. And the spiraling light over the volume, this gamma, can be represented by the low temperatures limit and the high temperatures one. The low temperatures one, there is exponential suppression. The T force power is just a dimensional analysis. And this free energy is parallel given by this parallel energy. And in high temperatures, there's no such a suppression. From that, we can obtain the temperature ranges which is parallel process occur in the early universe. When the parallel light is larger than the Hubble expansion light, then the parallel process are activated. In the low temperatures, we can solve the exponential suppression factors as a logarithm, and if we insert the value of the Higgs boson and the weak gauge coupling and W boson mass, then the low bound of the temperature is given by the 100 giga-electron-volt, which is correspond to the electro-weak phase transition. And in the high temperatures limit, the upper bounds of the parallel process temperatures is given by the 10 to the tau of CV, which is the latest relating temperatures after the inflation. So the point is that in the standard model, it has a baryon number violations as inherent property, and among that, the parallel process can give enough baryon number violation. And there is a temperature ranges in the early universe. But still, the standard model cannot provide the enough baryon symmetry, because the standard model electro-weak phase transition is not second. It is not burst order. The electro-weak phase transition can be the burst order when the Higgs mass is below than the order of the 50 or 70 GeV. But the current Higgs boson mass is measured by the 105 giga-electron-volt. So it is known that the standard the electro-weak phase transition is a second order phase transition. But such a second order phase transition cannot explain the inner baryon symmetry, because that so for the second order phase transition of the crossover with the continuous changes of all the parameter, the inequilibrium process can realized by the expansion of the universe. But this is not enough, so the baryon symmetry cannot generate sufficiently. So it requires the first order phase transition by the extension of the standard model. And also the another problem is the CP violation in the CKM-Kirk mixing matrix is not sufficient to generate the large baryon symmetry. So here's some detailed analysis why the standard model electro-weak phase transition cannot be the burst order. As already we discussed in the several previous video, in the Higgs potential there's an effective term in the zero temperatures from the loop correction. So this is Coleman-Weinberg potential, and this is three-level Baer term, and also there's a finite temperatures effect. So this is the finite temperatures effective potential. And this can be expanded by the simple form with the temperature dependence of the quadratic term and the cubic term. And from that we can evaluate the critical temperatures when the quadratic term signs changes, and the critical field value at the this Tc. And at these critical temperatures, the minimums are degenerated, so the state can exist in the both vacuum and true vacuum simultaneously. So this makes the bubble in the burst of the phase transition. These bubbles makes when the bubble growth rate is louder than the Hubble light. And similarly, the bubble production rate has a suppression factors. And the free energy can be obtained by the two term. The first term is the surface tension, because the scalar field near the bubble surface is inhomogeneous. This makes the surface tension, and then we can evaluate this surface tension by using the effective potential of the scalar field. And the second contribution is the potential energy difference and the dependence of the bubble size. When the true vacuum is has a smaller potential energy value rather than the Bose vacuum, that makes such a potential energy difference. And we can calculate this bubble nucleation temperature. So in the bubble, there's a broken phases with the non-zero order parameter, and outside of the bubble as a background, there's symmetric phases. The BAB or order parameter is 0. But still, just the burst of the phase transition is not sufficient. In the bubble, after the phase transition, so the baryogenesis ended. This is a broken phases. And if the spiraling process still occurs inside of the broken phases after the phase transition, then the baryon asymmetries can be washed down. So such a situation should be avoided. We know that in the low temperatures, the spiraling temperatures, spiraling process can occur when its light is louder than the Hubble expansion light. So to avoid the spiraling process after the phase transitions in the broken phases, I mean the bubble, inside of the bubble, then the directions of the inequalities changes. And the W boson mass from the thermal effect can be obtained by the multiplication of the gas coupling and the Higgs boson BAB. So we can know that the ratio of the critical temperatures and the Higgs BAB at that TC should be louder than the 1. This is condition for the strong burst order. Which ensure that the baryon number violation, the spiral transition is a turn off in the broken phases in the bubble and after the phase transition, end of the baryogenesis. Here is the explanation. Higgs BAB changes from the 0 to the non-zero 1. And the baryons numbers are generated, and after that the baryogenesis in the broken phases, the baryon number violation process shifts negligibly small. So this is condition, the strong burst order, to guarantee that the no washouts of the baryon asymmetry. And to realize that such a burst or the phase transition, usually the two Higgs doublet model is introduced. So there is additional Higgs doublet on the standard model exact. And this is the general potential form. The coupling, like the quality coupling or the quadratic term mu scales, it can be the generally complex number, but some parameters it can be real by the redefinitions of the field pace. So that the independent CP Baladan phases in these two example potentials are just the only remaining one. So such a two example model, first of all, this can give the additional CP Baladan sources. This is the first advantage. And second one, you can realize the first of the pattern transition. The ratios of the BAB and the critical temperatures can be expressed by the one loop's level effect. This is a self-quality coupling, and this gamma is from the thermal impact. And if we insert the Higgs boson mass as the relation between the lambda and the BAB, and this should be larger than the 1, it means that if we move the other term except the MHX mass, so here V scale, so V scales and the lambda go to here. So the remaining terms are here. This gives the lower upper bounds of the Higgs boson mass to realize that this strong burst through the condition, and this is a 50 or 70 ZeV in the standard model. And we know that the Higgs boson mass is 125 ZeV. So in the standard model, the burst of the pattern transition cannot be realized. So the two gives the burst of the pattern transition standard model should be extended with additional scalar, which contributes the additional term in the right hand side of this inequality. So in the two example model, this gives the additional term from the quantum loop effect, and so that such a two example model can realize the strong burst of the phase transition. In the remaining part, I will talk about the dynamics of the bubble and how the baryogenous method generates. So far, we discussed the electro-weak baryogenesis. It is also sensitive with the spiraling process. So there are some specific temperature, and this requires a burst of the phase transition for the third cycle of conditions of the inequilibrium process, and this can be realized by the two-external model. And also this can give additional CP parallelizing phases. And this also the pattern transitions makes the bubble. The interactions of the particle and the moving bubble wall with a specific velocity generate the baryogenous symmetry. So particles are collided with the bubble, and they scatters. And if the DOE has the CP parallelizing phases in Lagrangian, then this scattering generates the baryogenous symmetry. The thickness of the bubble walls is important to analyze the dynamics, but for simplicity, the thickness is larger than the mean free path of the particle. Mean free path means that there is no scattering. And if there's a CP parallel and the scalar factor, the radial path and the angular path is varies over the time. This is similar to the standard model decay matrix, like the B-mass decay. And this gives additional contribution in the Hamiltonian and the change in chemical potential. And in the Boltzmann equation, the chemical potential is a relevant term. And by the considering this parallel process, so we can compute the baryon symmetry with the latest of entropy density. And this is given by the parallel Bakht's term, and this G star comes from the entropy density. and the changes of the pages gives the balance symmetry, and the two-example model, the argument, the page term of the coupling gives this one. This is just a brief sketch of the dynamics. So how can we check the electro-weak baryogenesis? There's three ways. The first one is the new stepping biolighting phases can changes the electric dipole, the EDM of the electron or neutron. The Higgs factors participates in the loops, and it changes the quark EDM. And the second one is the H3 H-cubic coupling. There's additional contribution from the two-example model, and the coupling is rather than the standard model one. And the third possible way is the gravitational wave, which coming from the collisions between the bubble. There's several contribution. The first one is a wall collision and the sound wave and the turbulence in the plasma. This gives the gravitational wave density, and we can plot the energy of the gravitational waves over the frequency here. So today we discussed the electro-weak baryogenesis concerning the burst of the Pageant transition, and this can be realized by the two-example model, and this associates the bubble wave dynamics, and this can be confirmed by the EDM, Higgs coupling, cubic coupling, and all the gravitational wave.